Just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And you can have both feet flat on the floor if you've got your legs down, or if you're sitting in the cross-legged position, just be aware of the sensation, of the weight of the sensation of your feet underneath your legs. And then notice your sits bones on your chair. And align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. You can have your hands in the meditation posture. The right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light that stretch from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond, just lengthening your spine. Put some space in between those vertebrae. And then go to the crown of the head and just relax your scalp and forehead, and just go down the body, scan the body, and just release any tension there, but yet still keeping your spine sort of straight, aligned. And be aware of your breath, the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. So for those of you who are planning on coming to Laudo next time, I don't know if I'll be going in 26, but you know, we might think about sending out some breathing exercises. Actually, these Hindu yogis that we ran into did that for their trekkers. They sent them out breathing exercises to help adjust with the altitude. So we take our breath for granted. You know, we just think, oh, I'm just breathing. But you know, there's ways that you can improve your health through the awareness of your breath and control of your breath. And then just be aware of any distractions in your immediate environment and outside. And then just notice how your mind is this evening. Just allowing your thoughts to arise and abide. And then maybe they just dissipate if you don't follow them. And then think of all the people of your life, your loved ones, your strangers. And, you know, for those of you who've been traveling lately on aircraft, it's usually about, you know, in the plane, a minimum of 300 strangers around you. And then in the airport, thousands, all going somewhere. They all have a loved one somewhere, at least one loved one somewhere. So I think all these people, even the ones you don't like, they're actually all equal. They want to be happy. They don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So I think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings, and then think of the families of anyone affected in that UPS plane that crashed yesterday evening. It was a little bit, to say the least, it was a little bit apocalyptic and a little bit distressing to watch. But just think about, you know, maybe dedicate the merit from today's practice to all those people. And think, there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we will experience, and we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to Buddha Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor. And he has these beautiful methods that we can use to purify our minds, our bodies, our speech. So you imagine you're going to rely upon his methods, like medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and he's this beautiful white body, a Buddha, and he's sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has this beautiful radiant face, and he's looking at you and all sentient beings with just love and compassion and total acceptance, however it is you're turning up today. And his arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a excuse me, a vajra, which represents indestructibility of compassion. I still have a cough. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. Excuse me. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then, in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So you make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for all these beings and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of remedy, and this is the medicine. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of all of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabhawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Ambhadrasapha Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Ambhadrasapha Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Ambhadrasapha Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Ambhadrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body. Except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you and confusing people with your speech, saying you're going to do one thing and then not doing it, making a bunch of promises and just unfulfilling, not fulfilling them. And all this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe, Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Juda Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa. Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa. Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe. Again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So, and this happens as instantaneously as walking into a room and flicking on a switch, and the light comes. So you imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment, neediness, bitterness, grudges, jealousy, anger, all these kind of like weird feelings we have we can't control. Half the time we don't even know what's going on. And just imagine all that kind of mess of discomfort completely purified. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe, Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita, Drida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think now that there's no space in your heart for anything, other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So now we're working at a very, very subtle level, much more subtle level. So imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. So the nectar flows down and pushes out all the negativity of the body. And the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech. And then the light comes and just blasts all those, the discomfort, the mental discomfort. And it happens all at the same time as we recite the mantra as well. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Om vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Om vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Om vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Om vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Om vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with your body and your speech and your mind. And without this, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. Repeat the same old habits. Oops, I did again. So gradually, and changing all these habits isn't something that happens overnight. So we have to have some patience with ourselves and also with others. So again, this was another quality that seemed to exist within our group. It's patience. Everyone had a lot of grace and a lot of patience for everybody else. It was extraordinary. Anyway, think of something that you would like to work on between now and tomorrow. Rejoice in your efforts for coming along here this evening, this afternoon. And now Vajrasattva was delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and you think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And let's just do chanting the names of Manjushri. Whose aim is one, whose aim is non-dual Dharma, whose aim is ultimate beyond destruction, whose mind consists in groups of consciousness. Whoa, where do we go? With varied objects, forms, and cognizance, amused with every object of existence, a mind of passion-loving emptiness, transcending worldly passion and the like, with great enjoyment for the threefold world, with fair complexion, white like pristine clouds, with radiance like beams from autumn moons, with luster rivaling the morning suns, with nails emitting light of crimson red. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shayla. Thank you, Saul.